This episode of Unload and Show Clear is made possible by our patrons, Mike Zakowski, Joe Bowden, Jay Heil, and Doug Collins. Thank you all for your support. To find out how you can support the show, visit unloadpodcast.com/patrons.
Welcome to Unload and Show Clear. And now, here's your host, the slayer of non-threats, Lloyd Bailey.
And welcome back to another episode of Unload and Show Clear. It's episode number 155. I am your host, Lloyd Bailey, the slayer of non-threats. It's our second show back since the Great Flood of 2020. This is a show about the men and women of IDPA, the everyday people who make the sport what it is, the people who volunteer their time, their money, their hard work to improve their skills, to grow the sport, put on local and regional and national sanctioned matches. Today we start the show with a look back. We're going to finish our look back at the month of October, which was absolutely crazy. It was very busy for October. Normally, lots of matches in the spring, a handful of matches in the fall, and of course, because COVID hit, everything got canceled or postponed and then moved to October and November. So we have matches. We still have matches to talk about. Usually, there's maybe a couple of matches or maybe 3 matches around the country in October. Well, guess what? We spent the entire show talking about matches last week, and we've got more to cover today. Once we finish with our look back at October, we'll meet a new guest, someone we have not had on the show before. I'm excited to share that with you. And then I've got some closing thoughts that I wanted to share about one of the matches that took place this past month. But first, let's get started with our look back at the matches of October. And let's go back to New Mexico, to the Los Lunas Gun Club, where on October 10th and 11th, they hosted a bug-only charity match to raise funds for a really cool charity, Project Canine Hero. Their goal is to help families adopt retired military and police canine heroes. And I thought that was really cool. Alan Parsons from Alamogordo was the top overall time in the match, and he won the expert trophy. Zachary Payne from Farmington was the top sharpshooter. David Amy, also from Farmington, was the winner in the novice class, and he got himself a bump in just his third IDPA match at any level. Congratulations to him. And former guest Ben Gutierrez and his lovely wife Sherry finished first and third, respectively, in the marksman class. Be sure to check out my interview with Ben Gutierrez back in episode number 83. A week later, next door in Arizona, the Pima Pistol Club hosted the Arizona State IDPA Pistol Championship. Now, the title is a little interesting. The fact that they put the word pistol in there grabbed my attention. The Arizona State International Defensive Pistol Championship, apparently. Why is that, you ask? Well, it's because this match specifically excluded that cheater gun, the pistol caliber carbine. Distinguished Master Eric France from Oro Valley posted the overall top score. Tim Smith, all the way from Enumclaw, Washington, was the CCP champion. Apparently, all those small fields of CDP shooters I talked about in the last episode, apparently that no longer is a thing because there was a big turnout of CDP shooters at this match, 22 of them, in fact. Brian Populus topped that field and won the CDP title. In carry optics, 2 masters were battling it out for the top spot as Cody Shorter from Peoria, Arizona, edged out former guest Frank DeCastro from Tigard, Oregon, by just 0.54 seconds to take the division title. in carry optics. You can hear my interview with Frank DeCastro back in episode 76. Gilbert, Arizona's Kyle Schmidt won the ESP crown, and Dylan Binsky was the top time in SSP, and Jason Steiber from Phoenix, Arizona, won the revolver division. Across the country, all the way across the country, that very same weekend, the Lower Providence Rod and Gun Club in Audubon, Pennsylvania, hosted the annual Liberty match at Valley Forge, where distinguished master James McGinty posted the top overall score in a match that only saw 2 PCC shooters. Interesting. Sean Zhang from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, won the CCP title. Dan London from East Stroudsburg won the CDP division. David Alhasso from Southampton won the carry optics crown. Michael Frattoni from Ayer, Massachusetts, came down to score the top time in ESP. And Ken Ortbach from Hellertown was the revolver champion. Oh, I almost forgot SSP. That was Michael Haskin from Ridge, Maryland, with the SSP division title. Over in Perryville, Arkansas, that same weekend, 3 matches that same weekend across the country. 1 in Arizona, 1 in Pennsylvania, 1 smack dab in the middle of the country in Perryville, Arkansas, at one of my favorite places, the Central Arkansas Shooters Association. It's one of my all-time favorite matches, the Fall Brawl. I have not been able to compete in that match for the last 2 years. I was there for the Arkansas State match early last year, where we got rained on in 50-degree weather and stood there freezing to death. I don't miss that, but I do miss the Fall Brawl. So hopefully 2021 will be better, and I'll be back and compete at the Fall Brawl next year. But this year, carry optics master Kevin Harding from McKinney, Texas, right down the road from me, the owner of my home club, posted the best overall time, and he won the carry optics title. Brent Ross from Memphis won the CCP title. Drew Warwick from Hensley, Arkansas, won the CDP crown. Ted Nosey from Arlington, Tennessee, won the ESP division. And the great one, Greg Martin from Green Forest, Arkansas, won the SSP division. Unsurprisingly, Derek Hill from Royce City, Texas, won the revolver division. What is surprising about the revolver division and the results is who came in second. Former guest Al Motter was second in revolver. I have never seen Al shoot anything but Glocks. I don't know whether Glock released the G38 revolver while I was not looking or something, but Al Motter out there shooting a revolver. Who would have guessed? Anyway, you can hear my interview with Al Motter back in episode 27, and my interview with the great one, Greg Martin, in episode 123. 17 South Rod and Gun Club in Fleming, Georgia, hosted the long-awaited return of the Georgia State Championship. Today's guest was a competitor in that match. Summerville, South Carolina's Mike Wilkerson won the PCC title, had the top score overall, not really surprising. Richard Register from Eatonton, Georgia, won the carry optics title and had the best pistol time. You have to go all the way down to 16th, though, to find someone who wasn't shooting a cheater gun, who was actually using iron sights. And that person is Brett Newcomb from Mableton, Georgia. He won the ESP title. This was surprising and really cool to see. David Orr, one of our very first guests from all the way back in episode 19, traveling all the way from San Diego, California, won the bug division. Another former guest, Asa Durham from Pooler, Georgia, was the CCP champion. You can check out my interview with Asa back in episode number 124, back when he was living in South Carolina. Mark Few from Jacksonville Beach, Florida, following up on his division win at the Lake City Championship, which we talked about last time. He won the CDP crown, and that's his second division win this year as an expert, but that's just, it's when you're swimming in that pool with the experts and there's just not enough experts and masters to earn him a bump. It's going to come eventually, Mark. I'm sure of it. Congratulations to him. Todd Miners from Dallas. That would be Dallas, Georgia, not Dallas, Texas. won the revolver division, and Adam Jaszewski from Beaufort, South Carolina, won the SSP crown. And young Chandler Schreider from Berlin, Maryland, was high junior. This young Karyoptics master finished 15th overall. Now, the match that I mentioned last week that was very interesting to me, and this is a match that I really wanted to get out there and see, and I had an invitation to be there, and I wish I could have been, was the Southern Belle IDPA Championship in Blue Springs, Mississippi. This was a ladies-only match with an all-male SO staff run by former guest Chris Wally. You can check out my interview with Chris way back in episode 17. And this match attracted 48 ladies from all over the country: Texas, California, Washington State, Indiana, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and everywhere in between. Mandy Bachman from Clarksville, Texas, former guest, was the overall winner. Another former guest, Jackie Russo from Federal Way, Washington, was the CCP division champion. And another guest, Angela Swenson from Greenbrier, Arkansas, won the CDP division crown. Tricia Horvath, the wife of former guest David Horvath from Hebron, Indiana, won the Karyoptics division. Sheila McKinney from Oxford, Mississippi, won the PCC title. There was even a lady shooting a wheel gun. Carrie Parker from Tacoma, Washington. She came all the way from Tacoma to be the only wheel gun shooter. Way to go, Carrie. That's awesome. And she had a really respectable time as well. Kristen Day from Dickinson, Texas, won the SSP division. Congratulations to all of the shooters who competed in October. A big thanks to all of the staff and the clubs who made these matches possible. It's been a crazy year. So really thankful for everyone who made all of this possible and salvaged a season this year. Okay, it is time to move forward and meet today's special guest. I mentioned the Georgia State Championship earlier. Well, today's guest finished 6th overall in CDP. He also served as a safety officer at the match. He makes his first appearance here on Unload and Show Clear today. Robert Arnold from Covington, Georgia is our guest. Robert, welcome to the show.
Lloyd, I'm happy to be here.
So tell us a little about yourself. Tell us what you do for a living there in Covington.
So actually, I work for a large MSO, multiple service organization here in the Atlanta Metro. We do high-speed internet, phone, and that's pretty much, it's a cable company, really. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Gotcha.
I work for a cable company, and it's not Comcast. So.
So it's a good cable company then.
No, none of them are good.
Okay.
Everybody hates their cable company, and I know why. Because it's just easy.
Right. Yeah. And you're living the COVID life. You're getting to work from home.
I am. I have actually been working from home since March 9th. They called us on the 8th and said, do not come to the office until further notice. And we may not go back to the office until June or July.
Oh, my goodness. So further notice has not come yet. That's nice.
And believe me, 45-minute commute in the morning into Atlanta, and then a 2-hour commute home.
Oh, ouch.
I will work from my desk here in the living room until forever.
Right.
To be honest, it's been awesome.
So, did you grow up in around the Atlanta area, or native of Georgia?
I am a native. Actually, I live about 200 yards from the house I grew up in.
Oh.
I actually live in my grandparents' old house after they passed. My mother did not want to sell the property. She said, you guys just come out and rent. And basically what we do is we pay the property tax.
Nice.
And it's worked out great for my dad. So we're happy. It's about 54 acres, I think.
Oh, very nice.
And we are away from everybody. and everything actually.
Excellent. Not a bad thing these days. You've been social distancing before social distancing was cool, apparently.
I'm a Gen X, so we've been training for this our whole lives.
Where did the interest in guns come from? I'm assuming growing up in on 50 some odd acres, you had an opportunity to be around some firearms as at an early age, maybe.
Constantly. Grew up shooting rifles primarily. I'm terrible with a shotgun. We used to dove hunt here, and I'm still terrible at it. The doves have a better than even chance with me, so I just pretty much retired from the dove hunting occupation. But yeah, grew up here shooting. Started with 22 rifles, and then I guess so. I left here. I joined the Army. Went to Fort Bragg. We left Bragg for a while. My wife and I, we went to Ohio, and I actually shot an IDPA match in 1997-98 time frame.
Oh, wow.
With a Browning high power. It was the first pistol my wife ever bought for me. It's a Belgian high power. It's a really nice gun.
Nice.
I shot my first IDPA match at a little indoor range in Boardman, Ohio. And then did not even see it again until 2010.
Right.
Our local gun shop I used to hang out with, I did their website for them for a while, and they had a flyer for IDPA at South River Gun Club. It's about 10 minutes from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife was like, listen, you gotta find a hobby. You gotta go do something to get away from that awful commute you have. And you know, I was driving, 100 miles a day, just
right.
commuting. So I went out to South River. I shot the match with GADPA, the Greater Atlanta Defensive Pistol Association, and have been hooked ever since.
Did you take the Browning high power to that one as well, or what?
I did not actually. I had moved on from the Browning high power to a Springfield range officer.
Okay.
It moved in from the 9mm to the 45 ACP.
To the 45, and have been there ever since.
And I will not leave CDP until I make a master.
Gotcha. Okay.
Plus, if I switch guns back and forth, I'll do something dumb.
Right.
Lose track of what I'm doing. Hold on just a second.
We have a guest.
Buddy, knock it off. Jeez. Well, he's a 5-month-old Australian Shepherd.
Ah, okay.
So he's a velociraptor at this point. So
yes, I understand completely.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, he's just barking. But yeah, so I started with IDPA here in Atlanta, in Georgia, and really would go to the Sunday match, the once a month outdoor match, and it's a great match. It was a great match. We had a lot of fun, and buddy of mine, we finally really got tired of getting our butts kicked every Sunday. And it's like, you know what? I am tired of losing. I know I can shoot better than these guys, but I only get to one match a month.
Right.
So we started an indoor match at the Trading Place indoor range in Monroe. So he and I were match directors, and then he started a business and had to step away, and I picked up that match director job.
Okay.
And I ran that until 2018, from probably 2013 to 2018, probably 5 years I ran that match. And started having some problems. All indoor. Okay. So we would have 2 Tuesdays. The first and third Tuesday of the month, we'd have an indoor match, and then we'd go to the Sunday outdoor match. And then, Cherokee Gun Club picked up a match. So we tried to get up there, and it's just to shoot here in the metro area You could almost shoot 5 days a week.
Nice. So what was the attraction to you started out with the Browning high power. What was the first handgun that you bought for yourself?
Actually, it was that high power.
It was the high power.
That's the first handgun I ever owned. And we had gone to a place at Fort Bragg, and we were looking at them. The Glocks were just really starting to come on the scene in 1991. And she said, and I quote, "If you buy a cheap gun, you're going to have a cheap gun." And I've never been a fan of the Glocks. I own one now. Currently, I own one.
Right.
But the steel frame guns have always been what I like.
Right. So, what made you decide that shooting the 45 was the thing for you? Did you get a chance to try that out and fall in love with it, or was there something iconic about it being in the military? What was the attraction to the 45, to the 1911?
Well, I like the 1911. The platform is timeless. It never really goes out of style, and it is very, very difficult to master. And again, that's why I will not move to another division until I master this one. I like the 45. The recoil is not, to me, it is not as bad as people might think, in my opinion. And again, it's more of a challenge personally, because you can't miss a lot.
Right.
You can't make up shots, and you have to have a solid stage plan. Now, do I do that all the time? No. Not as much as I would like. I'll string together 3 or 4 good stages and then just blow one up. I was like, I don't know what I was thinking, but it seemed like a good plan when the buzzer went off.
What was the first sanction match that you tried your hand at? You were shooting the indoor matches. You were shooting the Sunday matches at your local club. At what point did somebody say, "Hey, come on out and shoot one of these matches with the guys with the NASCAR jerseys"?
So it was 2011. I believe it was 2011 or 2012, the Georgia State Championship here at South River. It was the first sanction match I had ever shot. And then after that, I was hooked. We went to, we've been as far south as Homestead, Florida. We've been as far north as Bristol, Virginia, as far west as Texas, and pretty much anywhere in between. We have tried to go and shoot a match somewhere.
So what do you remember of that first sanctioned match? I mean, you were talking about shooting, you're shooting a lot of indoor matches and your local Sunday match. What was, when you get to the Georgia State match, the first one, what was that day like? What do you remember of that match?
It was busy. And it was like, okay, I think I've got a good plan. Did you see Jerry Mitchell just shoot that? Oh my God, that was so fast with a revolver. How did he do that? And it was just seeing all of those people, all different skill levels, all different types of handguns. I mean, just all the divisions. Everybody is working their plan as best they can. And that match, it was a pretty technically tough match. I think I was 5th out of 5 marksmen. I mean, I shot terrible. Had a great time. Absolutely just fantastic time. And I think what I really enjoyed the most about these matches, sanctioned or otherwise really, is the people.
Yep.
That is what makes an IDPA match, is the people. Because if you didn't have your staff that comes out and volunteers their time, you wouldn't have a match.
Right. So you are now an expert in CDP
I
and
am.
pushing for master. So what has it taken to get to that point? What has changed? You said one day it occurred to you, hey, I can shoot better than this. What did you do differently after that?
I really stopped just looking at the big picture. I looked at the smallest part of the match and just started working off those pieces, really, and just try to put together, all right, I'm going to worry about this stage. All right, we're on stage 5. I'm going to worry about stage 5. Don't care about stage 10. I care about stage 5. And put the small pieces together and just work on them all day. And then once that stage is over, if you do great, if you blow it up, go to the next stage. Forget about the stage you just shot. Concentrate on that next stage. All right, what do I have to do here? Where is my cover spot? Where are my reloads? What is my round count? How am I going to get there from here? And how am I going to economize my motion between point A and point B?
So the mental aspect, the mental part of the game was the big difference.
Yep. That has been my struggle. Honestly, that is the struggle, to just put the match into perspective and then concentrate on the small parts and put it together.
Yep.
Put one great match together. When I got bumped in Alabama from marksman to sharpshooter, and that was great. It's like, man, this is awesome. This was a great match. I didn't shoot good enough to take first place, but I was second in CDP marksman, and I got a bump to sharpshooter.
When was this?
That was here. So that was 2013, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From marksman to sharpshooter. And then in 2015, I placed third there. In Alabama, I placed third in CDP sharpshooter. And did I get a bump?
Which is that the Masters, or is that?
That was the Montgomery match.
Okay.
And then I was in 2013. I was also third place CDP sharpshooter at the Georgia State match. And then, God, when was that? I had a whole bunch of guys that needed a classifier at my range.
Mm-hmm.
So my assistant match director, Doug, is here. We're doing our thing. We shoot the classifier. I take all the sheets and say, hey, Doug, just upload them. I didn't look at them. I didn't check my scores, nothing.
Oh, no.
I shot it. I moved on, and I didn't even think about it. Say, hey, Doug, go ahead and get those uploaded as soon as you can. No rush, though. We're good. I got a sanction match in Florida. We're going to go shoot, and I think that was in the Space Coast is there now, I think.
Right.
And I turn around, and he doesn't call me or anything, and and he gets all the scores put in. And then I go and check, and I get an email from IDPA headquarters, and I bumped to expert. Yeah, congratulations, you bumped to expert. It's like, oh, a week before this match. And immediately just got destroyed in Florida. My first match as CDP expert, and it was terrible.
Jumped into the deep end of the pool.
And
accidentally.
It's like, you know what? I wasn't even trying to shoot fast for the classifier. I was just trying to just be smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that cost me. And I still laugh about it the whole time. It's like, number one, don't ever shoot a classifier the week before you have a match. Maybe 2 months, 2 months prior to that, a month maybe, but not the week prior.
Yeah.
Because you'll turn around, mess up, and get bumped to expert, and then be dead last,
Yep.
which is what ended up happening. Because as you move up in the classifications in the division, especially in CDP, the talent pool gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're chasing one guy. It's like, you know what? If I can just beat Wayne on one stage,
Right.
if I can just beat him on this stage, I'll consider that a win for me. If I can beat, Steve on this stage, and just keep just chopping away at it, really.
Yep. Enjoy swimming in the kiddie pool for a little while before you jump right into, sharpshooter and expert.
And it has been a struggle. Because as well as I do, the IDPA stands for I don't practice anymore.
Yeah.
Because
I resemble that remark.
life gets in the way.
Boy, howdy.
For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I need to go out. I need to do some dry firing. I've got this conference call I've got to be on for the next, 3 hours.
Yep.
And I turned around last year, 2019, the Fall Brawl. I actually won sharpshooter or CDP expert at the Fall Brawl.
Nice.
Didn't feel like I shot great the whole match, but I was steady. I was consistent. No major blow-ups, just put a decent match together.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out. I haven't been able to duplicate that, but,
right.
but I go out, I meet people. Who was I talking? I was talking to a friend of mine at work about, hey, why do you go shoot all these matches? And I took a screenshot of my Google Maps of all the starred places. I said, I could go to any one of these ranges, meet somebody I haven't seen in a year, and if I had a problem with my equipment, my ammo, or my gun, somebody would be there to help me out.
Yep.
Without fail.
Yep, that's for sure.
And I think that's the best part of IDPA is that the people are just great.
Well, you've spoiled my final question, so I'm going to have to transition to something else. You just finished shooting your first sanctioned match was the Georgia State match. Mm-hmm. They just had the latest iteration of this last month. What was and you worked the match. How did the match go? What was your impression of it, and how did you do?
I could have done better. On a personal level, I'm too many points down. I'm shooting faster than I can pick up my sights, and I just need to slow down, take a breath in there somewhere, because a second's a long time. Yep. 2 points down is 2 more seconds, and it will definitely punish you. When IDPA went to this half a second or to a full second per point down, they definitely changed the game.
Yeah.
And it's been
you can't shoot fast. You can't outrun your substandard accuracy. If you're not shooting accurately at a match, it doesn't matter how fast you run, you're not going to be able to make up for it.
That is, truer words have not been spoken. You cannot miss fast enough.
Right.
You just can't.
That was the phrase I was looking for. I couldn't think of that.
you just can't miss fast enough. And I told my buddy Mark and I travel to a lot of these matches. He's our state coordinator, and I'm the SOI that he comes to occasionally. So we do lots of stuff together. And we're on a team together, Mumford Coldwater, shooting sports, and we've been all over. I usually chase Mark. Mark chases me. He was fourth, I think, or actually he was third CDP expert. I was fourth CDP expert in our divisions, and that's just too many points down. the state match. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a 6-year hiatus for the Georgia State IDPA Championship.
Right.
But we are definitely working on plans to make that a rotational. So like South Georgia, Middle Georgia, North Georgia.
Right.
Just kind of spread it around so one club doesn't get stuck with it forever and ever. And we talked about the match all the way home. We left Saturday night about 8:30. We got back to here about 11:30, 11:45.
Right.
Had plenty of time to talk about the match, and it was well run. The stages were very, very challenging, and you have to ensure that especially in a big match like that, your marksmen and your sharpshooters make your match, because there's so many more of them.
Right. Hey, tell us about what stage. What was your favorite stage from that match, and maybe share a fun or funny moment from that weekend.
Oh, geez. Again, Mark and I travel quite a bit, and I think the cannonball stage. I think it was the shootout at Kennesaw, or the Battle of Kennesaw Mountain.
Okay, describe it.
So you had your start position. You had 2 targets to your left, then you had 2 targets to your right. Then you had to move to your right, engage 2 targets, slice of pie, and then you had to move out to a cannon prop where they had I think it was an 8-pound ball.
Okay.
And you had to drop it in the cannon barrel to activate the movers. To activate the movers that were downrange. I'm not moving in front of a cannon in the real world. If I'm going to launch something from a cannon, I'm going to stand back for a little while. Yep. But thoroughly enjoy the stage. I like the way that it was set up. It was one of the neatest props I think I've seen in a while. Wasn't the easiest
really
to reset.
No, I bet. That's really cool. Remember when what rule was it? 9.1.1 came out, and it was the rule that you can't force a shooter to do something that's not related to shooting.
You can't penalize them for not doing something, a non-shooting related act.
There you go.
Yeah.
And lots of people were just losing their minds about it. And my reaction to it was, this is going to force match directors and stage designers to be really creative, to come up with ways to force you to do weird things. Yep. And that sounds like a perfect example. Drop a cannonball down the barrel of a cannon to activate some targets.
And the coolest thing about it was a PVC cannon. It was a PVC tube that went to a cup. And when it hit the cup, it triggered it's like the screen door openers.
Mm-hmm.
Or like your fence where you open the gate and the little bar goes in.
Right.
So when you dropped it, it opened and the spring pulled back and it pulled the stakes that activated the 2 movers. It was really a cool idea.
Very cool.
It became problematic. It didn't reset well. It took us an hour to get through the stage because it just it didn't want to act right.
Right.
But all in all, I really enjoyed shooting that one. That was fun.
Very cool.
And I think the funniest thing that happened at that match. So I typically shoot in a kilt.
Oh, that's right.
It drives people crazy. It drives them crazy. And we had 2 prone stage. No, we only had 1 prone stage. And it's like, hey, I'm going to get over here. I said, you can go over there if you want to. I don't know if I'd stand over there if I was you. But hey, to each his own.
Right.
And they're like, man, I'm going to have to give you an FTDR for that. I was like, well, okay. I mean, it could be worse, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know what? As a matter of fact, we met at the Fall Brawl.
We did.
We sure did. I just remembered that.
I was wandering about the bays, and you were hanging back in the shade, waiting for your squad to shoot.
I was trying to avoid pasting. No, I'm just kidding. It really wasn't. That was a great match. That was actually a lot of fun.
I love the Fall Brawl. I'm sad that I missed it this year. There were several, including Georgia, that I had hoped to get to, and Fall Brawl is always a fun trip. It's in my wheelhouse. It's like 5 hours drive from here, and I can go up the night before right after work and still, get a good night's sleep, and the people are awesome, and the match is always a lot of fun, and there's always cool people there like yourself. So.
Well, I don't know. Cool is kind of pushing it. That's what I tell everybody. Well, you're one of the cool kids. No, I'm just one of the okay kids. But yeah, those. I always enjoy going to a sanctioned match, or not even a sanctioned match. Going to somebody else's match, and seeing somebody you hadn't seen for 5 or 6 months. Yep. Hey man, how you been? How are things going? We're all surviving COVID. It's been 2020 has been the oddest year, I think, shooting wise, that I've seen.
Yeah, it's just been a flaming ball of garbage. I'm just ready for I'm ready for 2021.
Yep, a good old fashioned dumpster fire.
Yep, no question. Well, Robert, it's been great to get a chance to sit down and chat with you, and I hate that I wasn't able to get out to the Georgia State match. Hopefully, our paths will cross before too long, and things will somewhat get back to normal shooting wise, and hopefully we'll run across each other on the range in the not too distant future.
Most definitely, because it's always great to see people you haven't seen in a while.
Okay, before we go, I wanted to share some personal thoughts. I don't do this normally, so time to climb up on my soapbox for a second, if you don't mind. Of course you don't mind. It's my show. All right, so I wanted to talk about the Southern Belle IDPA Championship. I absolutely love the idea behind this match. When Chris Schmid and Chris Wally came to me originally to share the idea before they had gone public with it, I was super excited about this. I really wish I could have gone to see it. It's just a fantastic idea. And here's why. Every year after year, we go to IDPA matches and we relegate our better halves to winning High Lady. While at the same time, we wish more women would go shooting with us. In sports, in life, men and women are different. I know that comes as a shock to many of you. I'm not at all suggesting that women can't shoot as well as men. If you've watched people like Julie Golub or Mandy Bachman shoot, you know that's not true. And we've had some of those amazing women on the show, Mandy and Julie and Mary Grace McMahon and Kimmick O'Donoghue, just to name a few. I mean, the truth of it is maybe 5% of the turnout at a match is women. And we say to ourselves, why is that? Why can't we get more women to come out? And we don't think that, when people like me are out shooting matches, and don't laugh at that, poor angel. I do shoot matches, just haven't done it in a while. Anyway, while we're shooting matches, our better halves are taking care of other things. They have other responsibilities that allow us to go out and enjoy the sport. Now, don't take any of this the wrong way. My point is that men and women are different. And thank God for that. I mean, who would want a female version of you? Or me? That would just be awful. Sorry, the mental image. We have different interests. We have different upbringings, different mental and emotional skills. different levels of competitiveness, different physical attributes, and don't laugh at that. I'm not talking about those attributes. We have different physical skills. It's the way we're built. It's the way we were designed. It's part of God's plan. And if you look at the scores for any IDPA match, you're rarely going to find a large percentage of women, and you're going to find even fewer women winning their classes or their divisions. That's not a criticism. Go back and look at the scores. It's a statement of fact. And this, though, is why women's sports are important, including the shooting sports. Giving women a chance to compete and to achieve, to show the world their unique talents and their unique skills, to give them the recognition that we all are used to getting. Remember how it felt, or how it feels for those of you who are consistently coming home with plaques and trophies. Remember how it feels to compete and to do well, and to see your name on the leaderboard and to finish in the top 3 or to take home a division championship trophy. And it's part of that hook that gets people, that little cheap trophy that you take home is part of the hook that gets you addicted to this sport. And it's something that women miss. They miss out on too often. And that's why the Southern Belle and matches like it are important. Now, I'm honestly surprised, and at the same time, I'm not surprised that it's taken so long for IDPA to do something like this, like the Southern Belle. And part of the reason that it's taken so long, I think, can be found in some of the embarrassing responses from some men when the Belle was originally announced. We want to grow the sport. We want our wives and our girlfriends to get interested in competitive shooting. Well, this is how you do it. If you were one of the guys who was butthurt because you weren't able to shoot this match, tough. Go shoot any of the other 100 matches around the country every year where 95% of the competitors are men. I want to see us celebrate the women of IDPA and to give them the spotlight for a change because they deserve it. Because oftentimes they are making sacrifices in other ways so that the men in their lives can work to compete or to be a part of putting together matches for other people. It's time we celebrated the women of IDPA, and I am thankful to Southern Louisiana IDPA, to Chris Wally, to the people at Ridge Crossing, to all the men who went out and worked as SOs for the match so that this great match could happen. Congratulations to all you ladies who competed. And I'm looking forward to seeing what IDPA does in the future. I have a feeling there's going to be more to come. I've already heard about one, and we may talk about that next week. Okay. I'm getting down off the soapbox now. Thank you for listening to Unload and Show Clear. Despite a 17-week hiatus, we had the best month in the show's history in October. So thank you all for listening, for spreading the word about the show. And thank you to our patrons who support us financially so that we can do what we do. Be sure to check out the Self-Defense Radio Network that I mentioned. We are a proud member. It's a collection of great pro-freedom podcasts covering politics, competitive shooting, prepping, gun rights, all from a variety of different perspectives. Visit selfdefenseradio.net to check out all of the shows. Next episode in 2 weeks, we're going to meet another new guest. We'll review the results of the Archangel Lone Star Championship, the Space Coast Challenge, and zero down at the River Bend, and look ahead to the Sheepdog Championship coming up in December. So we'll talk about all of that next time. Until then, thank you all for listening. Bye for now.